You're the guy people call when they need a helping hand, moving furniture, unloading a truck. But lately, your shoulder's been acting up, and you're the one who's calling for help. And that's the moment you realize you can no longer shoulder the load.
The Joint and Spine Center is Cincinnati's leading destination for orthopedic care, with a range of surgical and non-surgical treatments. So when a moment has the power to change the rest of your life, go to the one place with the power to change it for the better, the Christ Hospital Health Network. This changes everything.
The Pound This Podcast is brought to you by the Christ Hospital Health Network. This is the Pound This Podcast, episode 683, Daily Eating and Exercise Habits with personal trainers Leah and Nic.
I want to lose weight, but I don't know how to get started.
What should I meal prep every week?
How do I get those sweet booty gains?
Inspiration for your healthy lifestyle. The Pound This Podcast with Amanda Valentine.
Hey friends, welcome to the Pound This Podcast. I am your host, Amanda Valentine, and I have been obese for most of my life. I'm going to say about 6 years old or so. Spent well over a decade yo-yo dieting. And then about 10 years ago, I made a New Year's resolution to stop dieting and start making the best decision possible in every moment. And from then, my entire life has changed. I've lost over 100 pounds. I started this podcast at the beginning of 2018 to help other people on their weight loss journeys or their journeys to become healthier people. And I have quit my full-time 9-to-5 job, become a certified personal trainer, a certified nutrition coach, and I want to do everything in my power with my own personal journey to help you on yours. So if you're listening to this podcast and you find any value in any episode you listen to, please, please, please share the love, share with family, friends, anyone you think that could find some benefit from this podcast. And you can always reach out to me with any questions or comments. You can email me at amanda@amandavалентиnebites.com. It's my goal to give you the best information possible for your journey and let you know that you're not alone. I appreciate you listening so much, and I would really appreciate you also sharing the love with this small business entrepreneur as I try to make my life's mission helping other people live their best lives. So here we go. Thank you so much for listening to the Pound This Podcast. I am Amanda Valentine, joined by coworkers today, personal trainers Leah and Nic. How are you guys?
Fantastic.
Wonderful.
Oh, yay. Everybody's in such a good mood today. So we wanted to ask some questions, do some little trainer talk here that so many people have asked, like for personal trainers, and you see all those articles and stuff online of like, I'm a personal trainer and this is what I eat every day and this is how I exercise every day. So we already talked to Josh and Whitney that work here at Cincy 360 Fitness about kind of their routine of what they eat and how they exercise. And so now, I mean, obviously you guys are two totally different humans.
Different people.
And different kinds of personal trainers. So kind of go through what you guys eat and how you exercise every day. So I guess, Leah, I'm going to start with you. Woo-hoo. Let's start with, in a general day, how do you eat?
So in a general day...
she's going to make me look really bad.
No, see, I don't know. I feel like
I'm just playing.
I feel like you should go for it. No, I don't know. So like for breakfast, for example, this morning I had Greek yogurt. I either have Greek yogurt or I have soy yogurt because actually dairy does not do well in my system. I am not a dairy girl, but I feel like the Greek yogurt specifically is okay. I guess the probiotics, it doesn't blow me up like a crazy balloon. So I had some plain, emphasis on plain, Greek yogurt. And the reason I say that is because I feel like a lot of people get into this problem with yogurt where they're buying that stuff that's full of extra sugar and they're like, well, I'm eating yogurt and it's so healthy. And I'm like, yeah, but did you look at the back of it and see that there's 17 grams of added sugar?
Well, even plain yogurt has a lot of sugar.
The plain Greek yogurt, I feel like has less than 5 grams. But I mean, like just plain, like there's no flavoring to it because I add that on my own, right? So I put in blueberries, I put in raspberries. I will throw a ton of stuff into my yogurt. I'll throw in some chia seeds, some flax seeds, some hemp, seeds. Yeah. Like I put like pumpkin seeds. I like texture, so like crunchy stuff. And I make my own granola, so I'll put that in there too. And then I also I will put nut butter in my yogurt too.
Oh, yeah.
So like I'll put peanut butter or cashew butter or whatever in there. So I feel like I can get a lot of stuff in that yogurt.
Yeah.
And I do the same thing with oatmeal too. So like if I have oatmeal, I eat it the same way. Like I put a ton of stuff in it like that, and that keeps me full for a while. Plus I'm getting a lot of fiber, extra protein, extra just things like that. So like that's what I had for breakfast. But I'll also do things like a Go Macro bar, which I know you guys talked about with Whitney. I like the Go Macro bars. I like the RX bars. Those are kind of the two ones that I feel like have a lot of cleaner ingredients in them.
The Laura bars have a lot of clean ingredients, but they're not really protein focused.
They don't have as much protein. Yeah. I think the Go Macro and the RX bars, both of those usually have 10 to 12 grams of protein. So I feel like that's at least getting me a little bit of bump with that. So that tends to be a lot of breakfast. Lunch is usually my break in the day. So I'll go home. And I am a big throw a lot of things in a bowl, as you can tell from my yogurt and my oatmeal. So like a rice bowl that I'll throw veggies in or salad in. Like I will do brown rice, but then throw like a whole bunch of salad mix on top of it.
That's the only way I like salads.
Okay.
Is if it has like quinoa or some sort of like good carb in it.
Some other
Otherwise
grain.
It's just like too much a bowl of grass.
Yeah. A bowl of grass. Fair. But then also throw like an egg on top of it. Like
nice.
I'll make up like a sunny side egg or 2 sunny side eggs,
nice.
and I'll throw that on top and then like mix it all around. So I like to have a lot of textures and things like that. But I also just like love a sandwich, like I'll go home and make sandwiches. I call myself like a 95% vegetarian. So I do eat eggs. I do eat fish. Occasionally I will eat some turkey, just like if I'm feeling like my protein's low, but like I don't eat chicken and I don't eat beef and I don't
But do you have any specific reasoning for that?
I stopped probably a couple years ago when I felt like if I was eating a lot of meat, I didn't feel good in my gut.
Yeah.
So it was just for me a personal, like this just doesn't feel good. Like we would go out for a big meal or something and either have a steak or have, something that had a lot of meat in it. And I just felt like crap, like after I ate that. So I just decided I was going to stop.
Yeah.
And I felt much better. But I also, for just environmental reasons, for ethical reasons, like I just don't get into eating a lot of animals.
For that 16-ounce steak too, because that's hard.
Yeah. And I just like, so for me now it's a big mix of reasons, but I just feel better when I'm not eating
Well,
meat.
and I think that's so important. I think that's a step that a lot of people miss. And I think it's practice of realizing how you feel after you eat something.
100%.
And that's, just kind of being self-aware of, when I eat dairy, I kind of blow up a little bit or I feel kind of lethargic instead of just being like, you just push past it because cheese is life. And so
cheese is life.
But that's where it's like, that's what sucks sometimes is when you realize you have some sort of gluten intolerance or dairy, or you just don't feel good after eating something and then realizing, I should probably cut this out or minimize it. It's a bummer. And so it's like you kind of avoid it.
And can I tell you on that note, this weekend, my husband and I went down to Smale Park. We walked around and then we went to the Blind Pig, which is this little bar and grill. And we had nachos and they were covered in queso and I ate them and I felt like crap. And then we went to Mad Tree and met some friends there on Sunday and we got a pizza with like creme fraiche and ranch and cheese on it. And I ate that. And I felt like crap.
Yeah.
So like I will take that sometime. Like this looks delicious and I'm going to eat it and I will, but then I know that I'm going to have consequences.
Yeah.
And I know the causes. I know why. And so I just was like, this is delicious and I'm going to have it right now. And I know that, I'm not going to feel great later. And then I know I'm going to just go back to it tomorrow and eat the stuff that makes me feel better.
I feel like our culture has normalized feeling like crap.
I think you're
right?
100% right.
It's not.
Well, I don't think you feel like crap though, because
it's
you're not having to
baseline.
compare to. Yeah.
Don't you think like for a lot of people that's baseline?
Yeah.
Is feeling like crap.
A lot of people will just say, well, my stomach just hurts after I eat. And it's like, okay, well, something's probably going on, right? Like if you always feel that way, if you need to run to the bathroom every time you eat something, that's not it might be normal for you, but it shouldn't be normal for you.
It's not normal.
Yeah. Well, that's where, like, because I've lived that life too. I mean, I've totally been there for a decent or large amount of my life where you don't have anything to compare it to. Like whenever, I never ate super clean or did anything like that to be like, oh, this is how I feel when I eat this way. It's all I do is just eat fast food and fried food and processed foods. And so, yeah, it's like you don't know any different. And then what's hard, I think, is when people go on, a diet and they can see what it feels like, but then how quickly it shifts from just like one bad weekend or one weekend where you're just like, yeah, I'm going to have pizza or whatever. And then how much you just revert right back to that. And somehow it's like your brain doesn't remember how good you felt the other time. It's so weird.
And that's the flip. I think that's the flip. That's the flip the switch, right? When you have your baseline get back to feeling good, you can have those blips where you go over into not feeling good, but you can get yourself back on track. And that, I think, I've had several clients where that's happened, where they have gone to the other side, right? Where they know, okay, I know that I can just then now take a day or two and get right back on track and get back to feeling better. Yeah.
And that took me a while too. I think the best indicator for me was vacations, because vacations used to be like, even if I was dieting, like in the whole decade I was yo-yo dieting, was like, well, it's a vacation. It's time to go ham.
Right.
I'm going to Maine, so I want all of the lobster and butter and fried foods and all of that stuff. And then it would be the whole week of that, then be so hard to get it again, where it's just so funny. I think it's where it just becomes a part of you, and the repetition and consistency with it, where now when I vacation, I'm like, yeah, I want to enjoy those things, but I'm like, I don't want to spend my vacation feeling tired and like crap. So it's like it has a balance of it. And that's where it's like, man, who is this person that's on vacation choosing to get like an acai bowl or something or a salad versus like, let's get all of the fried things. And I think it's just, you're so consistent and you make it a lifestyle choice in your everyday life that it kind of starts to bleed over into 100%. That. And then you feel it more. I don't know. It's so hard because I feel like until you've experienced that, you can explain it all day long and somebody would just be like, yeah, that sounds cool, but that doesn't exist.
Right.
So I don't know. Do you guys have those discussions with your clients a lot? The look on your face, Nick, you're like, oh my God, yes.
Absolutely.
Stuff I talk about quite a bit now, because I feel like recently I've gone through a few things that have made me realize that things I probably shouldn't eat a lot of, like dairy, right? Like I used to be okay with dairy. At least I thought I was okay with dairy.
Right.
But I think, not just how do my bowels feel, but also, how's my skin? How is your hair? Like, how is your energy level? Like, do you feel like you have to take a nap after you eat? Like all these little things that come out when you're eating something that maybe your body doesn't agree with. I think sometimes you have to take a step back and be like, okay, well, maybe I should look into this deeper and see what that is. So now that I've gone through it, I think like you were just saying, like you don't really recognize it until you go through it yourself. Same thing with exercise. We've talked about this a lot. If something's bothering you, you don't realize it's that's bothering you. It's like, oh, well, I've always done this. Well, that's why you've always done this. That's, your body's reacting to it over time. So yeah, I'll definitely bring it up to clients is, pay attention to how your body feels after you eat in certain foods, I think is really important.
Yeah. And I do want to touch on, because you said skin too, because I've had this conversation just recently with one of my best friends, because she saw a picture that I posted on Instagram and she's like, are you wearing makeup in this picture? And I'm like, not really. I wear tinted sunscreen every day, but I don't wear like full makeup. And this picture was taken at the end of the day. She's like, you bitch, how does your skin look like that? She's like, my skin doesn't look like that. And I'm like, drink water and eat healthier foods. I'm like, that's seriously, if you want to hear an answer to clearer skin, it's drink a butt ton of water, make healthy choices, get your micronutrients in as well as your macronutrients, and your skin will have a noticeable difference. And I don't think that clicks for a lot of people either.
I think it was hard though too, because they quote unquote debunked that like back in the 90s, right? It was like, well, if you eat a lot of greasy foods, then you're going to have, your pores are going to be clogged and you're going to have acne. And then science came out and was like, no, that's not the case. And it really is. I mean, you're going to have worse skin if you eat worse. Your body's going to react that way. Your skin is an organ just like anything else. It has an effect on that organ, just like it has probably an effect on every organ in your body.
Yeah, I definitely notice it. Just even like not even as much as breakouts, but it's just like duller skin of just kind of like it just looks and feels different. And it's, that's where I'm like, I mean, I'm not saying that that's going to be the cure-all for people. I mean, obviously people have skin conditions and stuff, but it's like, that's another one too of like trying to explain of how you feel with how you eat and also how your skin looks with how you're, and how it really changes everything.
But I'd be interested to see the amount of dermatologists out there that when somebody comes with a skin issue like that, whether it be eczema or chronic acne or whatever it is, I'm wondering how many dermatologists out there are asking about diet first.
No, they're not. I have eczema on my hands, and it does have flare-up and stuff like that too. And I will notice more flare-ups if I'm eating more dairy and stuff. But I was never asked about it. It was just like, here's a steroid.
Right.
Use this.
Well, and that's why I'm bringing that up because my son has allergies. And for a long time, he would get really bad eczema breakouts. And he still does from time to time. But what we noticed was when we stopped feeding him peanut butter sandwiches, it cleaned up a little bit. Gotcha. So, and he was, allergic to tree nuts, peanuts. So, I think it's definitely something to look into if you have these chronic issues, as opposed to just, like you said, throwing a steroid on it right away. Obviously, you need to do what you need. These things have a place. I'm not saying don't use them, but maybe look at your lifestyle and see if there's something that could be affecting you for that to be carrying over like that.
Well, yeah, even just this morning, I was at an appointment for this concussion that I have, and my other doctor is like, put all these pain relievers on it, which I have, and it doesn't really do anything. And who I saw today was like, hey, I want you to start adding more ginger into your diet. I want you to have more turmeric in your diet. Like, well, let's get these anti-inflammatories in here of like through natural foods. And I'm like, okay, that's speaking my language right there.
Yeah, that's great.
And it's not that, everybody will say that, or, then you kind of get this label as crunchy granola when you go into the let food be your medicine sort of thing. But I mean, it works.
It does. It really does.
I think it's coming around to be a little bit more acceptable socially to take that route first, I think.
Yeah. So we kind of got off the rails here, but so what do you eat for dinner, Leah?
Dinner is so varied. I have a daughter and a husband, so we've always tried to make when we're all home that we're all eating dinner together. So that's been an important part of our lives since she was little. And it doesn't matter what it is. We're just like all trying to get to the table together. So we make, I do cook a lot. We make, we'll have pasta and salad, or we'll have burritos, or we'll have, but stuff that we just make at home. So, stir fry a ton of veggies and have it with brown rice. Last night, but we will also do like every man for themselves. Yeah. So we eat leftovers. I love a leftover. So when I make things, I love to make. I'm not like a meal prepper per se like you are, but I'm a prep a bunch of stuff to eat throughout the week, like a huge pot of rice, you know, like a big thing of brown rice, or some vegetables, or stuff like that. So that then when we get to that dinner time, it's like, okay, I'm going to make a rice bowl. I'm going to saute some veggies, make some eggs, throw it all together. And then we can all just kind of sit down and eat. And like last night I had a leftover. And so I ate that, and Chris made something else with chicken. Like he'll make some chicken for himself. And my daughter made avocado toast.
Nice.
With eggs. So like we just got to get to the table together. But it's what we always talk about. It's usually a carb and a protein of some sort for me, whether it's eggs or beans or, some fish or something. But it's nothing fancy. It's like throw it all on a plate and a bowl and sit down and eat it together.
That's what it's like, as long as you enjoy it. Like I eat fairly plain too, but I'm like, I like that. So.
And we're all about like sauces and stuff. So, I love a good Jungle Jim's run to go and get hot sauces, or I like to try a lot of different Asian flavors, like rice vinegar and sweet chili oil, and so like I'll if I make vegetables, I'll like cook them up in a sauce like that, and then just serve them over rice and stuff like that. So it is pretty simple stuff. But it's just stuff that's easy to make and easy to have leftovers of, and then you're good to go.
Right on. So what about you, Nick? What's a daily food schedule look like for you?
I eat a lot of the same things every day. I'm pretty...
Hey, me too.
I'm okay with that, though. Like, I like a lot of the foods that I'm choosing, so I feel good about it. Dinner is the one thing that I would say is probably different every day. But, you know, this morning I started off with Kodiak cakes. I know you've been on the Kodiak cakes thing. You know, a little extra protein in it. Took a banana to work with me, so I could have that. Also took a protein shake to work with me. Cheers to that.
Yeah. Well, we'll pause there for a second. What kind of protein do you guys both use?
So I've been using that Vega.
Okay.
I don't know how do you pronounce it, but it's it's
the plant protein.
Plant protein, and it says plus greens, so it's just a little extra.
Yeah, but does it taste like butt?
But I wouldn't say it's a little grainier than like whey protein.
Okay.
It probably doesn't taste as good as whey. I think whey tastes pretty good these days. But like I said, look, with the dairy, I can do you know, a type of milk that has the lactase enzyme in it, like we usually do the Fairlife. I'm okay on that, but so I'll throw that in with the plant-based protein. And that's what you're looking at here. And I'll got a little bit of creatine monohydrate in there, just a little extra.
Get swole,
fuel
bruh.
the muscle. Get swole, bruh. So actually, on a side note on that, recently, be careful with your choices on if you're going to do, you know, any supplement, because it's a very unregulated industry. But there is a lot of cognitive benefits that they're saying now that can lead to helping the early onset of dementia and
From creatine?
Creatine
Creatine specifically? Okay.
And if you're going to do it, you want specifically monohydrate, because if you just get something that says creatine, it could be mixed with a lot of different things. So creatine monohydrate is going to be the most purest state. That being said, I did have some issues the first time I took it. A little bit of weirdness in my chest, some chest pain. So I stopped doing it. And I got a different brand, and I got the Naked brand, and that seems to be okay for me.
Okay.
So still, even if, you know, all of the science is saying you shouldn't be experiencing these symptoms, and you are, you know, you have to make sure that you're in tune with that.
Read your labels,
read your
just
labels.
like everything, right? Read your labels.
And what protein do you use?
I use Orgain, which is also a plant-based protein. Whey destroys my stomach. If I take a sip of a whey protein smoothie, my stomach just like just inflates. And so I use Orgain, which I think is soy and pea protein, or maybe it's more pea. I don't know. It's plant-based protein, and they have a lot of amazing flavors. So I do that with usually some iced coffee and some almond milk.
Oh, nice.
And just shake it up. So that's what I usually bring to work. If I'm going to make it.
Coffee.
Iced coffee, yeah. So I got that really cool iced coffee pitcher on Amazon. It's like $20, and you put your coffee in the little middle filter, and then you put water in it, and 12 hours later you have iced coffee. And so I pour like 8 ounces of iced coffee, 8 ounces of almond milk, and then protein, and
That's a good idea.
Shake it up, and it's just easy. Like at home, I'll do like frozen fruit and frozen greens and like make a smoothie. But if I just want to bring it to work, I just shake that up and I'm good to go.
Right on.
Yeah.
So what's the rest of the day look like for you, Nick?
So we talked about breakfast this morning was Kodiak cakes. Oftentimes we'll do like a sun butter sandwich. We do sun butter in our house because, again, my son has allergies and peanut butter sticks to everything. I'll put some honey on it, or sometimes I'll do like a jam or something like that, but usually it's honey. And I usually have a banana in the morning. Just kind of makes me feel ready for the day. It feels like it gives me that instant energy. Sometimes I'll do coffee. Sometimes I'll do, like this morning I did green tea. I've been trying to pull back on the caffeine. Genetics gave me high blood pressure, which recently has been good. So I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. But usually 3 days a week, I'll try to, maybe 4 days a week, I'll do a coffee depending on how I'm feeling. And, if it's Friday, I'll do it.
It's your way to celebrate.
Yeah.
You're a wild
Friday,
man.
I'm going wild.
It's crazy.
Give me some black coffee. I don't even put anything in it.
Wow. You fancy.
Yeah. So then recently I've been a lot better about bringing something to work, because usually I don't eat again. If I eat breakfast at 5:36, I'm usually eating lunch at 12:30. So, and I'm running all day, so not physically actually running, but walking around helping clients all day. So, I've been getting really hungry, so I've been doing either a protein shake or Go Macro. I do the Go Macro bars. I
feel like I'm
we need a
loner
sponsor.
here. I've never had them before.
We need a sponsor.
Yeah, sounds like it. Again, I like the ingredients in the Go Macro, and that's something that I feel like I can do, like an almond, the almond butter, or some peanuts in it, because it's wrapped up and I take it to work and it's not around my son. So that's the one way that I can get those types of food in my diet without being freaked out. And that's really what my diet is. I really just try to look at what am I not getting enough of, and I'll try to start adapting a little bit more of that. Ton of water throughout the morning. Try to do. I got this 32-ounce Hydro Flask. I try to get through at least one, and most of the way through the second one in the morning hours. And then lunch is probably my favorite meal of the day. Again, like Leah's saying, we, as trainers, we usually get a break for lunch in the middle part of the day. So I'll go home, and very similar to what Leah was saying, I'll do like a bowl of some sort with, rice or sweet potatoes, whatever we have from the previous night's dinner usually is what I'm kind of grabbing. Those are either rice or sweet potatoes are kind of my go-to carbohydrate, I would say, for lunch. And I usually throw 4 eggs in there because I'm, I'm ready to.
Dude.
Again, you're getting swole, bro.
Ready.
Creatine and eggs.
I need my protein. I need my calories from what I just burnt off through the morning hours. Always avocado. Love avocado.
Yeah, I do
always
too.
threw that on there. And then it depends on what we have left over, what I'll throw in there. Usually. Various and sundry different vegetables. If we don't have anything left, then usually I'll chop up a bell pepper and throw that in there. But usually there's something that's left over, like like yesterday was beans and corn. We had that the previous night. I've done just like stir fry vegetables, just whatever vegetables I have available to me there. I'll just kind of chop up and throw in there. I've even just like had power greens. If I don't have anything, just rip up some power greens and throw them in there and make just give me something that has some fiber in it. And sometimes I'll do hot sauce on it. But that's usually what I have for lunch. That's probably my largest meal of the day. I'll usually try to stack up there because then I go back to work later. And then on my way to work, if I don't have my protein shake earlier, I'll do a protein shake later. And then recently stole the idea from Whitney, actually, and she was talking about her beet juice.
Oh, yeah.
I've been doing the beet juice. So mine's a little different than what she was doing. I usually do a beet, a couple strawberries, and some kale. So that'll give me, my root vegetable, and then leafy greens and the strawberries, just because it tastes good.
Yeah.
So that's a good way to kind of supplement some more vegetables into my diet. Let me think.
Then you move on to dinner, right?
Move on to dinner. What's dinner? So we do a lot of chili, and that's one of my favorite meals because you can really jam pack chili with a lot of nutrients.
Yeah. Like a Cincinnati style chili or like a regular chili?
No, like chili,
Okay.
like
Chunky chili.
Yeah. Like, couple different types of beans, black bean, pinto bean, usually onion, pepper, usually several different types of peppers, different colors, eat the rainbow.
Yeah.
Sometimes we'll throw in zucchini. By the way, that's an easy way to get your kids to eat some vegetables, or yourself if you have a hard time eating vegetables.
Well, I really like to shred zucchini and put it in turkey burgers since turkey can get so dry.
Yeah.
Especially since I use like the 99% fat free, so shredding zucchini and putting that in there is awesome.
Yeah. So in eating in chili, it just all the flavors kind of blend together, so it tastes great, and it just feels like there's a little more substance to it when you eat it. And then ground turkey is usually the go-to, heavy protein in that meal. we do that one a lot. We do taco night a lot. Our tacos usually go flour tortilla, and usually it's ground turkey that we use. We'll do mixed greens. Sometimes we'll do beans, and a very light amount of cheese. And it just depends on what kind of cheese it is, whether it bothers my stomach or not.
Yeah.
What else do? We do some pasta. We tried to go healthier with the pasta for a while, but it's just not my jam.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
We tried that chickpea pasta.
Yeah, I don't
different
like
kinds
that.
of pasta.
Not chickpea. It was lentil pasta, and it's just very grainy.
Yeah, I don't like any of those. I don't know, like especially the chickpea one. And I know some people really love them, and I don't know. I can't get into them.
Yeah.
They cook
I
weird.
just do the regular old pasta, just the regular pasta. But then I'll the sauce. I'll make zucchini, tomato, it's like you're just having a little pasta.
Exactly.
Like, it's okay.
Yeah, right.
And I have this conversation too with my clients where it's like, well, I feel like I can't just go out and have chicken Alfredo, and I'm like, oh, cool. Here's the thing, like, how much pasta, how much Alfredo sauce are you taking in? You know what I mean? Because
you're going to go to Olive Garden, you're going to pound it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To me, that shouldn't be your meal. Like, that should be a part of your meal. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to have some of this chicken Alfredo with this other balanced meal that I'm eating.
Yeah, but that's not how portion sizes at restaurants roll.
No.
And then when that's what you're used to, when you make it at home, you mimic what you see in restaurants.
Right. And I'm a big proponent of mimicking what you like, but taking it and trying to make it just a little bit healthier.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, how do we make this a little healthier? Like, oh, you love chips. You can't get away from chips. How about an organic corn chip that, the ingredients are just, stone ground corn and salt.
Or you find something that kind of gives you the pleasure of chips and crunch, or like at least that's why I got really addicted to making my own kale chips for a while. Is because it kind of where I can have the large quantity of them of chips, because sometimes it's not even that you just love the chips so much, it's like you like the hand to mouth,
right?
You like the you can zone out and numb out while you're eating. And so then I was taking frozen like broccoli and putting like just seasoning on it, and some of them a good cheat for that too is like the popcorn seasonings, like the popcorn nacho cheese, and then put it in the air fryer and let that crisp up. And then you're just kind of eating vegetables as if they're chips. So I think that I know that's not the cure all for everybody, but it's like, I think that's one of those moments to have that self-awareness and pull back too of like, am I really addicted to the potato chips, or is there something else to this that is this feeding the addiction, and how can that addiction be solved in a healthier way? And that's the stuff that's hard, that people are like, just tell me the answer. And I'm like, I don't know the answer.
It's different for everyone.
And then the reason I brought that up, because that's my thing. Like, I just like, if I'm going to have a sandwich, or if I'm going to have that, that egg casserole, whatever you want to call it, that I have for lunch, like, I like to have some chips with that. And, for a while I was like, okay, well, this is a lot that I'm doing here. And that's what I ended up doing, getting a better type of chip to go along with it.
Sure.
Something with less ingredients, something without all that processed junk in it.
Yeah.
That can really solve a lot of the amount that's going into your body. So, other dinner ideas, I'm trying to think.
Well, if we can jump on exercise real quick. I did want to bring it before I got into your guys' exercise routine, where you brought up kind of fueling yourself after working all day. So on the average, from being a personal trainer, like how many like calories, like what kind of workout do you think it is just being at work?
It's a lot. It's a lot. I mean, obviously everybody is different, but it's funny when clients will say to me like, oh, well, you probably never have to diet, or you never have to watch what you eat, or and I'm like, I have on average 12 to 20,000 steps a day.
Yeah.
Like, I'm moving.
That's about what mine
all
is too.
day long. And so you do have to fuel that. I mean, you have, and it's like, it's not even about working out so much. It's like, you have to like put that back into your body. And so, I think it's such a hard thing to translate to people who sit all day.
Yeah.
Because I know like some people just have to do that all day for their job. And it's like, that's just not what we do.
Yeah.
I mean, it's, if you're losing 1,500 to 2,000 calories a day just from the amount that you're moving, you've got to put that back into your body.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know?
because specifically here at 360, I mean, there's stairs. So you're up and down
Correct.
stairs, you're moving weights, you're grabbing balls, you're walking back. And so it's like, that's where I'm like, man, I mean, I'm curious, of like how much that would actually be.
Yeah. I mean, and obviously like this, it's all so skewed, but I mean, like my watch says I already have 59 steps today. 5,659 steps.
And we're still
today.
in the morning.
It's 10:48.
Yeah.
And she's going to go home and walk her dog.
And I'm going to walk my dog. I walk my dog 2 or 3 times a day and then, do whatever else. So, I mean, which I love. I mean, I am not a sitter. I'm not a sit still person.
Yeah.
I have
me
a
either.
hard time sitting still. So yeah, I know this is hard for you right now.
Yeah.
Like
So-
I am go.
So what else besides just your daily activity? What kind of, I know that you put your videos on Instagram all the time.
Well, so like I do a lot of different things. I get bored really easily.
Yeah.
So I love to strength train, but even that, like sometimes I just get bored of that, So I do a little bit of everything. I do some yoga. I walk a ton. I do strength training, but I also do like some HIIT training. But I've also noticed that as I've gotten older that I can't jump around as much as I used to, like my foot hurts or like I have a little plantar fasciitis, it's like my heel hurts or like my knee, so I definitely have become better at modifying like my own workout. So like if I'm doing a challenge or if I'm doing somebody else's workout or something that I've seen, and it's like, let's do 25 squat jumps. And I'm like, nope, not going to do 25 squat jumps. I will do a squat with a step out or a squat with a calf raise or, so it just like the eating, it just like becomes to like paying attention to what you feel in your body and how it feels for you. But I really do believe, and I know we've had conversations at 360 about this and we've talked with other people, like if you can do some sort of mobility, whatever that is, if that's yoga, if that's Pilates, if that's just stretching, if you can do some sort of mobility, you can do some sort of walking, and you can do some sort of strength training. It's like those 3 things together are like the combination. It's like, and it, cardio I think is important, but you don't have to go out and run.
Yeah.
It's like if it's walking some hills or walking some steps or, something like that. I mean, I used to be a runner. I'm not a runner anymore. Like, it was just too hard on my body and it didn't feel good.
Yeah. And I mean, I
So
lost
I
the majority of my
stopped
weight
doing it.
walking.
Right.
And I don't think that gets enough credit.
I agree with you 100%.
Taking away your gains, bro.
100, right? Like, I mean, but that's silly. I don't know. You could go down so many rabbit holes with that. For me, walking is key. I would say I do a workout, put some quotes around it. I do a workout probably 5 days a week.
Okay.
And that's anywhere from 20 minutes to 45 minutes to an hour. It just depends on what it is and what I feel like doing that day. Because I really, mentally, I need to move my body every day. Like I had some people who were like, oh, I saw you were working out on vacation. And I'm like, yeah, because I like to.
Yeah.
Because I want to, because it makes me feel better mentally and physically. Mm-hmm. I am not the person that's going to go on vacation and not move my body the whole time. That's just not me. I get it if that's what you want to do, but I want to move my body.
Yeah.
So we went to Hilton Head. We took weights with us. We took, like bands with us. Because we drove, we could do that. And we did workouts in the driveway. They were half hour long.
Yeah.
I still had 12 hours to sit around on my butt and do nothing.
Yeah.
I did a half hour workout. So like that's the kind of, I like to do just, get in, do some strength training, do a little HIIT, do a little, cardio. I do like spin bike. I have a spin bike at home. Mm-hmm. Like I do like to do that. Maybe I do that once or twice a week. It's a lot of variety. Awesome. Like I just do a lot of different stuff.
Nice.
Yeah.
What about you, Nic?
So I'm a combination. Recently, I've done a lot more on connecting to core and that kind of a thing. After I had the hernia, I think kind of gave me a wake-up call. I think that, something that we always preach about. Like we always can tell other people, this is what you need to do. This is what you need to do. But until it happens to you, then you're like, oh, this is what I need to do. Right. So I've been really trying to take nice long warm-ups, making sure I'm mobilized well, make sure that I'm connected to my core well. And then I'll do movements that I feel like that are healthy for my body. Things like just my body's really good with the split leg routines like step ups and lunges and Bulgarian split squats and that kind of a thing. I have to feel good doing that. I don't feel as good doing squats, especially, backloaded and that kind of a thing. And I think I'm learning to listen to my body a little bit. Doesn't mean I won't ever do those things, but I'm just not doing those things consistently anymore. And, a little bit of traditional body building style exercises. I like the single arm stuff, the single joint stuff, like bicep curls and tricep extensions. And I like to do that stuff too. I like to feel a pump. Feels good to me. It's something I think that's nostalgic to me. It's when I started working out, that's the way it felt. I also do like to play around with athletic style exercises, balance. I like to balance on one foot and trying to do different things, different motions. I like the sled pushes, I like the ropes, the battle ropes. I like those types of things. Things that challenge me athletically and aren't your traditional just everyday movements that, though I think those are the most important, right? The hinge and the squat and the deadlift and those types of exercises are all probably most important. I like to do the lateral stuff to make sure that everything's working properly because I'm trying to not make the same mistakes as I did in the past. So,
well, I think the important takeaway for both of you is, and people listening to this, I hope would take note when you're talking about exercises, you're both listening to your body and doing what feels good. And, like, oh, I can't do this anymore. And having those and making modifications and not feeling like, oh, I'm a loser, I'm holding anybody back, of like really listening and doing what feels good. Cause I feel like that's what exercise is supposed to be, is moving your body and enjoying it and not a punishment for what you ate.
Yes.
Or I need to look this sort of way, so I need to go crank it hard. It's just moving your body in healthful ways that, enhance your life. And I think that's awesome because it's like exactly what you're doing.
Well, I think it's the same philosophy I have on eating, right? Like I'm learning that I shouldn't eat these foods. Doesn't mean I'm never going to eat these foods, right? Same thing with back squats.
Correct.
I'm going to eventually, do some of that. I'm not going to do it all the time like I used to because I know consistency is the thing that really matters. Every once in a while is okay.
Yeah.
If you really enjoy something and you feel like you can do it once or twice, cool. But if you feel like you can't consistently do that exercise without breaking down, then you should listen to your body.
Mm-hmm. So if anybody has any questions, what's the best way to get a hold of each of you?
Text message?
I don't know if you want your phone number out there. Or your email. Do you just want to send it to the info@cincy360fitness.com, Instagram?
You could do that, or a personal email. It's kind of a long email. It's first letter of my name, N, Alessandrini, ALESSANDRINI at CINCY 360fitness.com.
All right.
Wow. Yeah. That was a lot. Instagram. I have a kind of a more of a fitness account, which is Leah Trainer 360 on Instagram. I think my email is lwiethe@cincy360fitness.com. Yeah.
Or anyway, Amanda@AmandaValentineBites.com, and I can forward it.
There you go. Yeah.
That works too.
I think you can find us if you want to find us.
Right. Well, awesome, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
AmandaValentineBites.com